Well, guess what time it is? It's time for another video. And, like I was saying yesterday, uh, it's my delight to do these videos, and I enjoy it. And I feel like I'm privileged. It's really an honor to even be able to bring this stuff to you. And it's what I love doing. I love preaching and teaching the Word of God, learning about the ways of God and kingdom business. I just love it, and I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to do it. But I want to go ahead and get a little bit out of the schedule because I felt after the video that I put out yesterday, I felt led to expand on values and and to kind of focus in a little bit more on vision. And I want everybody to know that I never ask anybody I will not ask people to do something that I'm not personally willing to do or something that I have not already personally done. I mean, I'm not going to take anyone anywhere that I'm not willing to go, and in most cases, I haven't already been there. So with that being said, since I said some things yesterday about values and everything, and I wanted to expand on those, and I'll tell you what, I I have personally created my own me, Baron Greenwald. I've created a a vision statement that I live by, and it's centered around 10 values, and I have written it down, and I have shared it with other people, to help them hold me accountable to being this person and to living out this God-given vision. And and it's like I said, it's a personal vision, and it's a set of core values that I have determined to live by. And so my personal God-given vision is honor God and expand my influence through being accountable, speaking the truth, and walking in love. And obviously, I'm not there yet. It's a work in progress, and I don't want to already be there. I want to be constantly learning and constantly improving and constantly growing in the things of God and becoming what we're supposed to be doing in the image of Christ, more like in His likeness, is what the Word says, right? And and I want to before I get into the meat and potatoes of my personal vision statement, and to maybe help you create your own, and to kind of show you some things about vision, uh, and before I read my own, is what I'm saying is I want to tell you, give you a couple of pointers, and creating a very concise, uh, uh, godly vision statement. A vision statement should bring focus into three key relationships. I don't know if you've heard about this before, but I know a lot about vision and mission and things like that, and have taught a lot about it. And and when it comes to a God-given uh, vision, you have three relationships that you want your vision to be developed, if you will, to be born out of. And the key relationships are: the first one is vertical to God. The second one is horizontal to the church and horizontal to the lost. And keep in mind, the vision statement should be easy for people to remember. It should be thought provoking and clear. And again, mine is honor God and expand my influence through being accountable, speaking the truth, and walking in love. And so I've actually titled this. It's in a document that I created, and the title of it is Courage is First Among Equals for Great Leadership, 10 Values to Assist One in Becoming a Better Leader. And that, assists me in becoming a better leader. And some, like I was saying also yesterday, is the way you lead is an expression of who you are. Great leadership comes to those who make it their great pursuit throughout life. Great leadership begins with being accountable, speaking the truth, and putting away selfish desires. Values control your behavior. Your integrity as a person and as a leader depends on your values and your willingness to share. Adopting a servanthood mentality is a first step in becoming better at team leadership. Whoever, because you can always find the leader. It's not hard. Whoever influences the core value in a group is, in fact, the leader. And you can have a bad leader, and he can influence bad values. It can work both ways. So, always keep that in mind. And I use these 10 values for me personally, and they're 10 values that are a guide, if you will, to great leadership, because I have a pursuit of great leadership, and leadership is important to me, and I believe God made me to be a leader. And I'm not going to shirk that responsibility. And so I'm going to try to be in my full potential of who God made me to be. So courage is like I said, is first among equals, and so I put courage at the very top of my list. Leaders have a mindset that enables them to face difficult situations. It is not always easy to do the right thing, especially in the face of criticism. Having the courage to follow through with one's convictions and remaining in alignment with one's values is necessary for true leadership. Furthermore, leaders cannot have a timid spirit. Courageous decision making enables you to overcome intimidation that may otherwise cause you to stumble. And it does. You've got to have that courage. You cannot be intimidated as a leader. You must have credibility. Credibility is being worthy of belief. A credible person does not say things that are not true in order to promote self or to throw up a smokescreen in defense of a situation. And where I come from, this is referred to as blowing smoke. And to blow smoke is deceptive and can only harm your credibility as a leader. Finding favors with others is so important as in being a leader and in leadership. Period. Finding favors with others. One must gain favor in the sight of all who look upon them as leader. To gain favor with others, one must demonstrate that he is for the other person, that he has the other person's best interests at heart, that he can be trusted. Leaders find creative ways to encourage, they find creative ways to reward, and creative ways to acknowledge their people, the people who they're leading, for any and all of their best efforts. They allow them to experience the sensation of making a key contribution to a great success. And I also call that being an advocate or having fiduciary responsibility. And when you're a nurse, I used to be a nurse, in a former profession, and you're an advocate of that person, and you have to give them informed consent, and you always have to make decisions, in that person's best interest, and that's what a fiduciary is. If you don't know what fiduciary responsibility is, you ought to look it up. It's something that you should know. Most of the time, you only hear fiduciary in reference to money managers and people that manage your IRA accounts and stuff like that. But oh no, it goes way beyond that. Fiduciary responsibility is a big deal, and I encourage you to look into it and to learn about it. And and trust, earn trust is time tested. Others will seek your leadership and guidance after they know they can safely trust you. That's pretty cut and dry. And then a positive attitude, right? Great leaders bring a positive attitude daily. You cannot have a positive attitude with a negative perspective. This means that coming to work, and in this case, coming to church, uh, and doing all things without expressing discontent, fault finding, and complaining. I went through a class not too long ago, and it talks about the more responsibility you have, the less rights you have, the less freedoms you have. So they put this in like a triangle. And at the very bottom of the triangle, in regards to church, you would have someone at the very basic level like a greeter. But when you become a greeter, one of the lower levels of, if you will, of people in the church, when you become a greeter, then you give up certain rights. And what that means is you don't have the right to come to church with a bad attitude. You have to put away everything that happened to you that morning and any difficulties with your family, your wife, your kids. You put that away. You put a smile on your face and you bring the best you to church, and you open that door and you receive people with a smile on their face and you represent Jesus. So even at the most lower basic level of, if you will, of like say being a greeter at the door, you already give up some rights. You don't get to complain. You don't get to be late. You know, it's not your choice to be late anymore, or to have a sour look on your face and those things. Well, then you think about other parts of leadership in a church, and because I don't like using the word volunteer, but say like someone on a praise and worship team. You don't go out and do it. If you're up on stage and you're singing and leading people in worship and in song and worship, you don't get to go to the casino and be seen by all the people. You don't get to go do all drinking and gambling and all these other things. You have to live a life. You have to present an example. You once you get on up to like praise and worship level, you have to realize that you have given up a whole lot of freedoms and the I want tos. The selfish I want tos. Well, guess who's at the very top of this? If you become a teacher or a leader or a teacher or a pastor, they're at the very top. Guess how many rights they have? They don't. They don't. This total servant mentality. So keep that in mind. About bringing a positive attitude every single day. No fault finding. Coming up with solutions. You can't complain, express discontent, and all those things. You give those things up when you start working in the church and doing God's work and being kingdom minded and things like that. So positive attitude is absolute paramount, you know. And then with that, you have to take ownership. That's what I was talking about, being at church on time, coming to church in the spirit of prayer, being prepared, getting into the right mindset to worship and to praise and to serve God. So take ownership. And what else am I talking about here? We're talking about be the initiative that creates momentum and gets things going, gets things done. This By taking ownership, you take on all assignments with enthusiasm and dedication. Regardless of deadlines or other pressures, you always deliver. And a lot of times, that means saying no to a lot of things in your life and saying yes to doing God's work. And a lot of the time, it'll spoil your own plans. And with that being said, work ethic. I mean, you can't really get around work ethic, and it's being destroyed in today's society. But work ethic, I put this in my list. A strong work ethic reflects a strong sense of responsibility. A leader displays a strong work ethic. Others take notice of our work ethic and our willingness to work. It inspires them to follow suit. I've seen it done so many times. Our work ethic not only affects how we work, but also how those who are looking up to us as leaders work. It makes a big difference. Helping others, obviously, um, you know, I hope that you can see all of these values in my short uh, mission or vision statement. Helping others. Great leadership cannot coexist with the critical attitude. And I know personally that the critical attitude is something that I need to work on, that I've got a lot of work to do in that area. And I'm constantly mindful of it and praying about it and trying to overcome being critical. So great leadership, because if I want to be a great leader, I know that I'm going to have to deal with a critical attitude. So great leaders cannot coexist with a critical attitude. Instead of quickly criticizing folks, determined to help them analyze and correct mistakes. By taking this approach, you give them freedom to accept ownership of the error and increase chances of future success. After all, the successes reflect the leader's abilities, doesn't it? I mean, right? And like I was saying in the teaching yesterday about communication, you have to improve communication, and I'm going to continually work on trying to improve communication and foster communication. Leaders improve communication, not add to the ever-present communication disconnect and certainly not confusion. In the dynamics of today's church, and even in the business world, organizations are often experiencing structural changes which create the need for effective communication from the leaders. When people lack information, they usually assume the worst. That's just the way that it is. And face-to-face communication is best. It's unparalleled. It is unequaled because it allows the individual involved to make eye contact, to see your facial expressions, and read your body language. Poor communication is one-sided and can lead to confusion, discouragement, and frustrations. And on the other hand, word clarity and effective communication can strengthen relationships and foster encouragement. Believe me, my wife's been telling me that for a long time. She she really wants the communication, between us to strengthen our relationship. Believe me, I get this at home all the time. And you can't leave this list and leadership without respect. Leaders follow the golden rule by treating others as one would like to be treated. In addition, leaders are firm, fair, and consistent by not showing partiality that creates strife among the group. Leaders unite the unit. But and what does it tell us in James? But if you show partiality, you are committing sin and are convicted by the law as transgressors. It tells us in James 2:9. So again, I want to just show people that I practice what I preach. I do my best to do it. I try to bring excellence into what I'm doing, and I've created a personal vision statement that I live my life by, and it's backed up by 10 values to assist me personally in being a better person and to becoming a great leader. And my vision, my God given vision, again, is honor God and expand my influence through being accountable and speaking the truth and walking in love. So I hope this helps you, and I hope it kind of encourages you to look at the values that you want to shape you, and you want to be known as a person of these particular values. You know, do you want to be known as a courageous man or woman? Do you want to have credibility? Do you want to be known as someone who has found favors with others? Do you want to be a trustworthy person, a person who brings a positive attitude, and trust and someone who takes ownership and to have a work ethic? Work ethic's important to me. I I try not to be outworked. I try to produce as much as I possibly can every single day, except for on Sundays. And you can ask my wife because that's the way that I live my life. And I'm always trying to help others. I do have a heart for helping others, and and I want to show respect to others and receive respect. The Bible has a whole talking about husbands and wives. The Bible has a whole lot to say about husbands and wives. And respect is so important to men. You know, women, wives respect your husbands. Husbands love your wives, and so respect is very important, and to all men. So, anyway, I tell you what, I hope this encourages you to maybe develop your own personal vision statement. I hope that it assists us all in creating a precise God-given vision for the Apollo Assembly. And one of the things that we don't necessarily get to do is create a mission statement because God gives us the mission. Disciples making disciples in a greater commission, if you will. So I'll leave you with this. Again, going back to the 1, 2, 3. Concise vision statements should bring focus to three key relationships: vertical to God, horizontal to the church, and horizontal to the lost. And again, it needs to be easy and for people to remember, and thought provoking and clear. So I hope this helps you. And again, I love you. If you want any of these things, let me know. I'll send them to you. And so until the next time for a video, I'll see you.